Most of you are soft. You flinch at discomfort. You medicate your feelings. You build your lives around avoiding anything that stings, anything that challenges you. And in doing so, you're not just avoiding pain, you're actively shrinking yourselves. You're becoming less. That's not a judgment. It's an observation. An uncomfortable truth. We've been sold a lie. A carefully constructed myth that happiness is a constant state, that problems are to be solved, not confronted. That comfort is king. This is poison. Because life is pain. Not in some melodramatic, woe is me way. But in a fundamental, unavoidable way. Loss, failure, heartbreak, the grind of ambition, the sheer existential weight of existence, it all hurts. Trying to avoid it is like trying to hold back the tide. You'll expend all your energy and ultimately drown. Real strength isn't the absence of pain. It's the capacity to absorb it. To process it. To use it. To become something harder, something more resilient, because of it. This isn't about stoicism as a passive acceptance of suffering. It's about actively forging yourself in the fires of adversity. It's about understanding that pain is information. Essential information. You think the guys you admire, the leaders, the creators, the titans you see, they haven't felt pain? They've felt more of it than you can possibly imagine. They just didn't let it break them. They let it make them. So, what changes? How do you move from being a fragile creature defined by avoidance to a force that thrives in the face of hardship? It begins with a fundamental shift in perspective. It starts with dismantling the narratives you've been fed. Look at a blacksmith. He doesn't worry about the heat of the forge scorching his skin. He understands that intense heat is required to shape the metal. He doesn't shy away from the hammering. He knows it's the repeated impact that strengthens and refines the form. You are the metal. Life is the forge. And if you want to be forged into something remarkable, you have to stop pulling away from the flames. This isn't about seeking out pain for its own sake. That's masochism, and it's equally destructive. It's about building the tolerance for it. The mental and emotional armor to withstand it when it inevitably arrives. Consider this. Every time you instinctively reach for a distraction when something uncomfortable arises, scrolling endlessly through your phone, binge watching a show, numbing yourself with food or substances, you're weakening that armor. You're reinforcing the belief that you can't handle it. So, where do you start? It's not a quick fix. It's a process. A ruthless self-assessment and a commitment to relentless self-improvement. Let's talk about building that foundation. This is what I would consider Principle 1. Embrace discomfort daily. Small doses. Don't try to run a marathon before you can walk. Start with something small. Take a cold shower. It's not pleasurable. It's actively unpleasant. But it forces you to regulate your nervous system, to breathe through the discomfort, to realize you can survive something challenging. Push yourself to do one thing every day that you actively avoid because it's uncomfortable. This could be anything. Making that difficult phone call, tackling a neglected task, practicing a skill you're terrible at. The point is to build that muscle of resilience. It's not about enjoying the discomfort, it's about desensitizing yourself to it. Now, you'll inevitably encounter bigger pains. The ones that truly shake you. Loss of a loved one. A career setback. A broken relationship. The kind of pain that feels like it's going to consume you. When that happens, you need a strategy. You need the tools to navigate the storm. That brings us to Principle 2, cultivate radical ownership. Stop playing the victim. Stop blaming external circumstances. Yes, bad things happen. Life isn't fair. But dwelling on what you can't control is a waste of energy. Focus on what you can control, your response, your actions, your mindset. When something painful happens, ask yourself, what role did I play in this? What lessons can I learn? What can I do to move forward? It's not about self-flagellation. It's about acknowledging your responsibility and harnessing that energy to rebuild. It's about recognizing that even in the face of tragedy, you still have agency. You still have a choice. This is where most people fall apart. They get stuck in the narrative of helplessness. They wallow in self-pity. And they allow the pain to define them. Don't be that guy. But ownership isn't enough. You need to understand the nature of pain itself. Principle 3. Deconstruct the story. Pain isn't just a physical sensation or an emotional turmoil. It's a story you tell yourself about the experience. A narrative you create to make sense of it. And you have the power to rewrite that story. Let's say you were passed over for a promotion. The easy narrative is, I'm not good enough. My boss doesn't value me. This is a sign that I'm failing. That's a narrative of defeat. A narrative that will paralyze you. A more powerful narrative is, okay, this hurts. But it doesn't define my worth. This is an opportunity to identify my weaknesses, to develop new skills, and to come back stronger. Maybe this wasn't the right role for me anyway. That's a narrative of growth. A narrative that empowers you to take action. Learn to question your initial reactions to pain. Ask yourself, is this story serving me? Is it accurate? Is there another way to look at this? Deconstructing the story doesn't diminish the pain. It reframes it. It transforms it from a debilitating force into a catalyst for growth. And finally, there's the hardest part. The part that most men completely avoid. Principle 4. Seek meaning in suffering. This isn't about finding a silver lining. It's about recognizing that even the most devastating experiences can have a purpose. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote about man's search for meaning. He observed that those who survived the concentration camps weren't necessarily the strongest or the healthiest. They were the ones who had something to live for. A purpose beyond their own suffering. That purpose can be anything. A commitment to your family. A passion for your work. A desire to make a difference in the world. The point is to connect your pain to something larger than yourself. To find meaning in the struggle. When you can do that, pain no longer feels random or senseless. It becomes a part of your story. A testament to your resilience. A source of strength. This isn't easy. This is brutal work. It requires constant vigilance. Constant self-reflection. And a willingness to confront the darkest parts of yourself. But the alternative, a life lived in fear of discomfort, a life diminished by avoidance, is a fate worse than any pain you'll ever endure. Because here's the bottom line. You will suffer. Everyone does. The question isn't if you will experience pain. It's how you will respond to it. Will you crumble? Or will you rise? Will you let it break you? Or will you let it make you? The choice is yours. Now, if you're actually serious about taking control of your life, about building real strength, about mastering pain instead of running from it, then start with that cold shower. Right now. Don't wait. Don't make excuses. Just do it. It's a small act, but it's a signal. A signal to yourself that you're willing to confront discomfort. A signal that you're willing to pay the price for a stronger, more resilient you. And if you found this video helpful, if it ignited something within you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't let them continue to live a diminished life. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's build a community of men who aren't afraid to face the fire. Because the world needs more men who aren't afraid to be forged.